Can anybody hear me? Hello? This is William Wagner in Santa Maria, California, the home of the Michael Jackson Inquisition. Because of being on Tiny Chat the last time, Steffi came on board to get our website redesigned. It's offline right now, so you cannot see the MJJ Innocent Forever Foundation Inc. website at the moment. But we're fine tuning it. Steffi's doing a great job. She's very talented in that department. Um, we had a foundation board meeting last Sunday. Michelle Jackson, um, the aunt of Michael Joe Jackson. She's married to Joe's brother. She's a member. She's the treasurer, and she will be looking at the funds that come in. And she's in touch with the Jackson family. Thomas Lessman is in Kansas. He's a board member. And the other board member is Barbara. And we took several actions to get this thing kicked off and hired an accountant. Michelle is picking a certified public accountant who will, once every 3 months, look over the finances to be sure that everything's on the up and up and issue a CPA report, double checking the bookkeeper, whose name is Sue. Uh, Michelle is the treasurer, and Michelle and I are going to get together. We're planning to get together Monday, going to the bank. We're going to open the bank account for the foundation for the first time, and then it'll take, I think, a day, perhaps 36 hours to get the banking uh, technical stuff done so that people can go to the website, click on a button, and instantly give their 10, 20, $50, whatever they want to contribute to the production of a documentary that will be based on the real court record as well as the schemes of the media that is not on the court record, but that I personally witnessed, Linda and Willie Agnew personally witnessed, that was outside the court's purview, but it was a big part of the hype that went to make most of the world that was mesmerized by the national TV media and the print media think that Michael Jackson was going down. Had you been able to watch my local show that I was doing once a week during the trial, you would have come away with a very schizophrenic opinion of what was going on, because yeah, well, we're at the point we expect, and Mrs. Jackson, who's a board member and the treasurer, believes that once we get the word out, we will raise probably the $10 million by the second anniversary of Michael Jackson's death, or what most people believe is Michael Jackson's death. I don't want to start any arguments there. But the end of June, that's our hope, that we'll raise the first 10 million and another 10 million by the anniversary of his birthday in August. It's really now going to be up to the Michael Jackson fans. If they really want to see a television documentary completed, the foundation has been incorporated since the incorporation was finalized in February, but that doesn't mean you can just open up and do business. There's a lot of little details to make everything work. Steffi's a big part of making this happen, and I got to thank Tiny Chat and you, Dina, and the people that listened in, because without Tiny Chat, I probably wouldn't have found Steffi. And Steffi's just been a great help. Mrs. Jackson at that board meeting said that, we should go through the Michael Jackson fan clubs to pick the members for the advisory board for a very simple reason that I will be way too busy to look through 150 or so applications, or maybe 5,000 applications, and try to pick and figure out who is really a Michael Jackson fan and who's a shill for Thomas Snedden. I mean, there's no way I would know, but the Michael Jackson fan club presidents, they will know who's been long-term, who's been steady as a rock, committed behind Michael. They will know who's been in the fan club for years, if not decades. So that seemed like a really good idea. And that just shows why it's important to have a board of directors that can contribute ideas. And that's just our immediate board of directors for the foundation. And we're hoping that once the website is activated and the Michael Jackson fan clubs make their recommendations and put in the applications for people they believe will contribute to this entire effort, we might have 100 or 150 members on that volunteer advisory board, and we'll really be listening to their suggestions. They're an important factor, two ways. One, in giving us information that maybe there's something we missed, and it's possible because the Jackson trial in 04-05, I don't think there was any one single person who really could grasp everything that was going on at all times. It's just not possible to be everywhere. But I think I have a good concept of what the media was doing to spin this and make it look like Michael Jackson was going down. And if you'd watch my local shows, I was asking the question again and again, please, Mr. Prosecutor, show me one witness that doesn't get caught in their own lies. Just one witness that saw Michael do something that doesn't get caught. Gavin got caught in his lies. Star got caught in his lies. Their sister kind of went sideways and tried to say she didn't really see anything, but she believed something had happened. To me, the most upsetting thing is to get reports from Jackson fans in England and in Germany that somebody, Diane Delusional or other people, are in Europe preaching a mantra that Michael really was guilty and the jury got it wrong. No. The jury got it exactly right. And you had a jury of mostly white, one or two Hispanics, but mostly white, mostly elderly people who were not into Michael's music. And there they sat in judgment of the evidence, and they looked at Michael Jackson and his black family coming to court almost every day. There was always Mrs. Jackson, many times Joe Jackson, as Pearl said earlier today on Tiny Chat. Often there was Jackie Jackson and Tito Jackson. The sisters didn't come that often, but usually there was a brother there. And the jury looked at this black family and they sat in judgment and they said, no way in hell, he's not guilty. And it was for good reason. The evidence was faked. It was forged. In my view, Snedden should be in jail, and that's why, even though I'm not a Michael Jackson fan, I was a Jackson 5 fan many years ago, but I believe Snedden, Auchincloss, Ron Zonen, Magnicola, they should all be indicted for faking evidence, for forging evidence, and most of all, for starting the process to kill Michael. They started this, they knew what they were doing. It was premeditated with malice aforethought. And those are the words you use when a prosecutor wants a jury to convict and give the death penalty. In my view, you can blame Conrad Murray, you can blame the people behind Conrad Murray, you can blame Tommy Mottola, you can blame all kinds of different people in this whole process. But it started with this indictment based on faked and phony evidence I mean, if I made up evidence that I saw Dina uh, uh, raping the Pope on the backside of the moon, and I went into court with that evidence, and the jury was dumb enough to, and the judge was dumb enough to listen and let it go to a jury trial, and the jury came back and said not guilty, and then Dina gets depressed and later dies, could you not rationally say that I caused the death of Dina by coming in with ridiculous evidence, evidence that was faked and forged? And I'm using such an extreme example, not picking you on personally, Dina, just because everybody can relate to you. I'm doing this to give you an idea of how horrible this trial was. And I actually thought the first time after the case in chief had been presented, and it was a lousy case by the prosecutors, defending counsel Thomas Mesereau put in a motion. That's pretty standard. He said that on the interview. In case if you haven't seen it, he came up on my show, and it's on my YouTube channel, which is simply William Wagener. Put in December 10th, Thomas Mesereau, and you will see me interviewing in 7 clips Thomas Mesereau. And he said then, you know, it's standard to put in that motion for dismiss, and it's standard for the judge to not dismiss. So there's no great surprises. But in my mind, I hadn't seen any evidence that could stand on its own. So to me, Judge Melville made his first major mistake in not just granting a dismissal. And it would have been over. The prosecutors would have been humiliated. And they should have been humiliated. They should be ashamed. But in, I think it was September of last year, the Los Angeles County Bar Association held a meeting only for them, only for bar members, trying to get their membership up and get people to come. And at that meeting, which I put in a media request to come in and tape the event, they said no, they were going to tape it. And they did, and you can see clips of that on my YouTube channel as well. There's one where Ron Zonen is speaking. Oh, by the way, they left Mr. Mesereau speak very, very last, after they had badgered Michael, and the commentator and the moderator had described Mr. Mesereau as a very talented defense attorney, with the implication that he got Michael off when Michael was really guilty. I mean, this was a room full of Los Angeles lawyers, and some of them had been Michael's prior lawyers. But the only one that really stood up and defended Michael was Thomas Mesereau. And I had 2 witnesses. I would not go in that room if I couldn't tape it myself. So I didn't go in, but I had 2 witnesses that were in there. One came in from Texas, one was in Los Angeles, and they both told me when Thomas Mesereau finally got to speak, you could see, you know, the throbbing in his throat, and his face was flushed red. He was angry. It was controlled anger, because Ron Zonen described Gavin Avizo as the victim even then. Years after the trial, he's still claiming he's a victim. And this says to me that the establishment is going to spin this trial off after another 5 years or so, as Michael got away with it and now he's dead, and well, we're all better off for it. And to me, this is a travesty of justice. We should not sit still and let them twist the jury verdict and make the jury look like the jury was crazy. No, the jury was very, very sane.